welcome back to the channel. My name's Andy, the Painting Fireman. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for subscribing. I think we're up to 318, which is that blows me away. So I really appreciate everybody who put the hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Today we're just going to do a nice little mountain landscape, something that you can do if you've just started. It's pretty basic. We only have a few colors here, so we have Prussian blue, phthalo blue, white, some crimson, and a mountain mix. So I use Bob Ross branded paints. They're affordable, and it's something that you can start with. Yeah, so let's go up to the canvas. I'll show you what I've done already. Today we just covered our canvas with liquid white. It's ready, slick, ready to go. And we do a wet on wet style oil painting, so you need some sort of medium on the bottom, and that's liquid white. So let's get into it with, pull out a little bit of that Prussian blue, and you can just tap it on the brush. Just go ahead and tap it both sides. And don't put too much. You can always put a little bit right now, and then go back and put more on if you need to. So we'll start off at this corner here, just with our X strokes. Prussian blue is a really nice blue color. And we'll just go down. And we'll leave it about there. And then we can go crossways. And when you're doing your waters, just pull all the way across. Don't worry about the lines and all that kind of stuff. We're going to blend all this out here anyway, so. All right. I kind of started with the wrong color, but that's okay. I wanted to put some crimson in the sky. But the beauty of this kind of painting, you know what, you kind of screw up once, and you can always go back and fix it. So let's get right into that crimson. Tap it in on your brush, and we're going to start right here. I just want kind of a nice little glow happening. Nice little glow in my painting. We're going to put a big old mountain there, so most of this will be covered up, but really want that glow to happen. And you go right up to your blue, and then we're gonna blend that in, and it'll turn that purple color, and then it'll turn that sky blue color. So we can just bring it out here a little bit, a little higher, and of course we want it in our water there. Just a nice little glow. And just make your X strokes. It really, you know, if you want to darken it up just a little bit, you can put a little more paint on there. There we go. Darken that up a little bit. And most of this will be covered by mountain, so it really doesn't matter where you put that color, as long as it's kind of there. All right, let's clean our old brush. We clean the brush in odorless paint thinner, so if you're painting inside, probably a good idea to use that odorless paint thinner. All right, we can start in this color, the crimson color, and we can just blend it out. And you can see how it's blending into the blue. So what you really want to do is you want to kind of make sure that wherever you put that color, you don't know where it transitions. So it kind of really nicely transitions into the next color above, right? That's kind of the trick you need to do. And every once in a while, you don't have to clean your brush all the way. I just wipe it on a piece of paper towel. And we can go to the bottom here. Let's blend that out. And just straight across. When we're painting water, we go straight across. And sometimes it leaves those little lines, and it just makes that water look like water. Water's very still sometimes. Let's go back. And you can skip around here and there, you know, whatever you feel like doing. But try not to bring too much of that blue back into your crimson color. It'll turn it purple. And that's okay if you do, but it's not what we're looking for. All right, let's dip our brush into a little more phthalo blue. And what you really want to accomplish is having that viewer kind of look into the middle of your painting. And one way we can do that is taking some of that darker color and making just the corners a little bit darker than the rest of the painting. And that kind of frames the painting and brings everybody's eyes kind of into the middle. And that's where you want everybody to be looking, right? So just lightly darken the corners up. Wipe your brush off just on a piece of paper towel, and you can go back and just blend it in so it kind of looks a little more natural. Same with the bottom, just blend that in a little bit. And you can see how it kind of makes a circle almost, a circle around your canvas, and that viewer just focuses in right on that middle part. So that's kind of a little secret there that painters use to keep the attention of the viewer where they want it to. Let's put an Old Muddy Mountain. Now Bob Ross, the Bob Ross company, not Bob Ross, he's gone now, but they make a really nice pre-made mountain color. And it's a blue, purple, kind of blue purpley color. So we're just going to take that, pull it out on your palette, and cut across. And right on the end, right there, trying to show you, it's a little roll of paint. That's exactly what you want. So just go and cut across. You'll have that nice roll of paint. We're going to stick a big old mountain right here. Big old mountain. We're going to start right here. And your mountain could be any shape you want. Any kind of shape you want. Maybe it's got a few bumps here. And it comes down. And we can just fill it in as we go. And across here. You can see how that glow still stays even though I'm kind of covering it up. But just that little bit of glow in the background, that's what you're looking for. It's exactly what you're looking for. Maybe a little hump there. Maybe this one's a little more. And it goes off kind of into nothing over on that side there. And maybe right in this big spot here, nice another little peak that's hanging out there. There's a little valley there maybe. You can just make stories up, you know. These mountains kind of, when you're painting them, they don't really exist. Some do, like, I mean, you could take your a photo or something and try and recreate it, but I find when I'm making mountains, I really like to make my own mountain. It doesn't exist anywhere in real life, so it's all kind of in my head what the shape of this mountain's looking like. So, all right, now we got a good start on our mountain. And what you want to do is you want to scrape off all that excess paint. And what happens is it stains the canvas for you, and it just makes it easier to put the next layer on. So go ahead and scrape all that paint off. There we go. And we can take our big old 2-inch brush. You can take a 1-inch brush, whatever, doesn't matter. And we can draw that mountain out and start shaping it, forming it, figuring out which angles are there. And it just blends into the bottom. And every once in a while, just kind of knock the paint off. And we're still trying to get rid of some of that paint that's on that mountain, just to make sure that next layer kind of sinks in there. Maybe this one goes this way. You can kind of see as you're doing this, you can kind of see where kind of ridges start and things like that. And then just at the bottom, you can just gently blend it out. And you can clean your brush. It's kind of the funnest part. Cleaning the brush. Bob Ross always said that was the best part of oil painting. All right, and we can just gently bring some of this color up into our mountain at their base. Just really nicely fog it out. Because at the bottom of Mountain Zero, it's usually really foggy, right? So you see a lot of dense fog at the bottom, and sometimes at the top it's a little more pronounced. So you want the tops of your mountains really pronounced. You want the bottom kind of foggy and dusty. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's take our good old knife and let's bring out some white and just a touch of blue, just a small little amount of blue in there. And we're going to put some snow. So we want to drag that out as thin as we can get. And press it pretty hard. Wipe your knife off, and we're going to take our little cut of paint. Just that little roll of paint at the end. All right. And find a place to start. You could start on this mountain, this one, this little hill, whatever. And when we're starting, take your knife and very, you can even lift it up a bit. And just gently go down that mountain. Take it out. Start at this side here. And follow those angles down. Very little pressure on here. We'll go back and actually put some really bright looking white there. And you can start shaping your mountain here. But very little pressure. I wanted the little guy upstairs. He's having a good time on his iPad there, banging away. So I apologize if you hear some noises and some banging. He just loves his iPad. Loves his iPad. He bangs away and gets excited. And just gently go back. We're gonna highlight a lot of these anyways here with shadows and things like that. Like I said, we're gonna put some white on there. Maybe this guy in the back here has a little bit, and you can even take the other side of your knife, kind of like the small side of your knife, and just put an indication back there that there's a distant mountain. Not a lot of detail in these guys. I'm going to bring this almost right in front of there. Oops. All right, you see, I don't like editing out a lot of stuff. So I had some paint on my finger, and you can see it kind of went onto the canvas. Well, you know what? Let's just blend that out, just like that. And that might get covered up by some trees or something anyway. So there you go. That's what I love about oil painting. You know, you make a small little error, or you got a little piece of paint somewhere, just blend it away. It's wonderful to be able to do that. It just makes life so much easier. You're not waiting for it to dry and all that kind of stuff. All right, I'm going to take that same color and just add some blue to it. Now you want this color lighter than your mountain, but darker than the snow you put on there. We can even put just a bit of crimson maybe in there. Just kind of purple it up a little bit. There we go. Maybe a little more crimson in there. Why not? Just mix it right on your brush there. Same thing, cut across. And let's put in a bit of shadow there. Just here and there. Now your shadows, you don't really put as much as the snowy parts. So you just find a few places, but it's the same technique, very little pressure. And we can go back and straighten that out or make it as crooked as we want it to be. Let's go in here. Touch. And let's go right across. And you can see by doing that how it pushed that little mountain all the way back. pushed it all the way back. And this guy here, just a little bit. Can't forget about this guy in the back here. All right, now let's take some, we're gonna wipe off the knife. Let's take some pure white, pull it out again, cut across, and let's begin to add some really bright highlights on our mountain here. Just pull across, and this is plain old white, and we're just gonna add some really nice highlights that are even almost pure white on here. And let that paint break. Very little pressure on my knife. I'm holding it basically with kind of 2 fingers, and I use my little pointer finger here to guide that paint on there. And you can go back and forth. You know, you can, if you missed a shadow or something, right down there, right down into that blue part. We're gonna fan out that bottom. Just make sure that you give those shadows a chance to shine too, right? Maybe it comes across here, creates a little peak of some sort. And we'll take a bit more of that white. Just gently put some on there. Just kind of want it a little more bumpy, I guess you'd say. And we got some shadows here. And all I'm doing is going back and forth with my color. I'm not, you know, make sure you wipe off your knife after each time if you're going back in the shadow. And I just wipe it on. I got a pair of painting pants, I call them. A little bit of painting pants, and that'll cure that. But make sure if you're switching back and forth, that you wipe off that knife there. Maybe we'll touch that guy up in the back just a little bit here. Just make him a little bit brighter. Give him some dimension here. And across there. Oh, there you go. That looks okay. That's one big mountain that we got kind of hiding in the back. I'm just gonna have a look back, take a break, and be right back, and we'll kind of move to the front. All right, I stepped back a little bit, had a look at my picture, and I kind of didn't like the sky part, so I figured maybe we need some clouds in there. So we can go back and just put some indication that there's clouds in the background, kind of floating around. Now it just adds a little bit to your painting. And I'm just using the corner of the brush. And you could do this after. There's no, you know, usually I do it before. And I thought, well, I'm gonna put that sunset in there, or sunrise, or whatever the heck it may be, and see if it looks okay. And you know what? I was wrong. It didn't look good without some clouds in there. So just gonna throw a few in, and all I'm doing is using the corner of my brush, just the corner. Maybe he goes here, and there's a little guy right there. And we're gonna take our 2-inch brush, and let's blend those clouds out just a little bit, just touching the bottom of the clouds. Now it is easier to do it without that mountain in the way, but like I said, you can go back and and do it. You just got to be a little more careful when you're working around the top of that mountain. Just little circles, blending out the bottom. We kind of fluff them up a little bit. And we can go crossways. Very gentle, gentle touch. Get rid of some of that paint. There we go. All right. There, that added just a little bit of dimension to that, to my sky. Just didn't like the way it was looking all blank like that. So that's all it takes, you know, a couple seconds, and voila, you got some clouds. So I thought I'd put them in. All right, let's fix up this mountain here. We're gonna just tap the bottom. Maybe go up a little higher. We're creating that mist again on the bottom of our mountain, and follow your angles. So if your mountain's kind of going this way, you want to hold your brush kind of this way, and then turn it so that you can tap out the bottom and just gently lift up. Gently lift up. There we go. Now, you know, you always see stuff, and there's a big blank kind of space here. So I'm just going to go ahead and just make my own peak. Make another part of this mountain right here. Go across. Maybe that's kind of like a glacier or something hanging around there. I don't know what that is. A whole brand new mountain kind of in the front. That's what that is. Oh. And I just didn't, you know, you kind of step back and you have a look, right? And you're like, oh man, I think it needs something there. Just something to fill that void and space in. There we go. All right. Now we can keep going with we got to go back and forth on this painting. But that's the joy of the oil-based paints and the wet on wet technique. You can just go back and add things and fix things up, whatever you want to do with it. It's so wonderful to do it, to this type of oil painting, right? All right, enough of that. Let's go into our Prussian blue. Maybe we'll take some of that mountain mix, and let's throw in some of that white, and just tapping the brush into there. I'm using the big old 2-inch brush, a little more blue. Just tap that in there. We can push upwards. All right, so let's put some indications of some foothills in the back here. Maybe it goes up this way. And all I'm doing is tapping. Take your time with this. Just these little indications of some little footy hills in the back. I think Bob Ross used to call them footy hills. Just take some more paint when you need it. Tap that in. And you can leave spaces, leave areas open. All right. And very gently, what we can do is just lift upwards, and that'll create the indication of some distant trees right in the back. Barely even touching the canvas. And just like that, just by doing this, it almost looks like you've created a million trees in the back. So at the end of this video, I usually do like just a slow-mo kind of overview of this painting. And it's hard to see. I know it's kind of hard to see with on camera right now, but at the end, you'll see all of that and it'll look like a million trees. Because to me right now, it looks like a million trees. I don't know what exactly it looks like on the camera right now, but all right. Now we got some water here and we can pull down here and just take a little bit, pull straight down. Take a little bit, pull straight down. I think there's like a little kind of offshoot that comes here. And you can just tap that in, pull straight down. And as we get further this way, we want to pull down even more. Make your strokes longer. Nice little kind of mountain lake. And then very gently go across. And you have wonderful, wonderful reflections in your water. Just like that. Here we go. All right, we can put a little bit of snow on those. I think all of a sudden it kind of turned into like a winter painting. I don't know where I was going with it, but yeah, it just kind of turned out that way. Okay, let's tap some white, pull it out, tap it in. And we can just tap some indication of, maybe I'll take some liquid white. My white paint seems to be a little thick for some reason. Kind of dried out or whatever. We can take some of that liquid white. Now, liquid white is a very thin white paint, and that's what you use on your kind of undercoat. All right, let's take some of that liquid white. Just thin my paint out just a little bit. You can see it right there. And we can tap just some indications of maybe these grassy things in the front or something like that. We don't know what they are. This is still pretty far away, and we're going to draw everybody's attention to the front. So, all right, let's take some of that liquid white, put it on your knife. Let's cut in a little water line right there. And this one here. Now make sure these are straight across. It'll look funny in your painting if those aren't straight across. Cut those all the way across there. There we go. And you can put some lines in there if you want, whatever. Just some indications. So, all right, we got a hill coming in there. Clean off our brush again. And let's just soften this up just a little bit. Love those reflections. Now this style of oil painting, you can make such wonderful, wonderful reflections, and it doesn't take a lot of effort, right? All right, let's move forward in our painting. We're just going to take some blue. You know what? We might slide a little bit of that black in there. Blue, black. We want a little bit darker to the front of our painting. So I'm just throwing some black, some blue, maybe some of that mountain mix. And I'm just using the 1-inch brush right now. Tap that in. And we're going to put a piece of land right in front here. Right around there. We need somewhere where our big tree's going to live. We always put those big trees right at the front. Right around there. And just tap that in. And maybe there's going to be some bushes out front. We'll see. We'll see how it works. And then we can take our 2-inch brush, drop straight down, a little longer as it goes outwards or towards the end, and shorter as it comes in. And just gently across, very gently across, just to blur that just a little bit. There we go. We'll take our old fan brush with the same kind of dark color, just a little blue, little black, blue and black, black and blue, and we'll pop it down here. And let's put in a nice little tree. Lots of paint on your brush. Start with a little indication of a root, or not a root. We can start with a little indication of a trunk there, and just with the corner of the brush, and press it downwards. And as I go down, I'm pressing harder and harder, and I'm just kind of going outwards a little more. Oh, here's one. Let's give him a buddy right there. Right there. Here he is. Further down, harder we press. And why not? One more. One more right there. And pressing down harder and harder as we go. Maybe this one's a little in front of that one. All right, let's go into that black and blue mix again, just a little bit darker. Tap that in there. And we're gonna put some indications of some bushes right at the front there. Just, I want it a little bit darker. There we go. And we can go into, wipe that off. Take some of our liquid white. Take some of our liquid white. Put it on your brush. Same thing, just tap that in. Tap that liquid white in. And maybe there's a bush. Maybe up front a little bit. Guy right there, and all I'm doing is tapping. I'm not, and we want to leave some of that dark color in there. Left the dark in there. Let's take our white, just our titanium white, and we're going to put some land in there. Sometimes I put land in, sometimes I don't. To me, it really doesn't make or break the painting if I don't put any in there, but I think today we're going to try. So just take some white. And we're just going to gently put some snow on there. Just going across. Get some indications of snow and stuff that's piled up there. Let's go right across there. Kind of made a woo-woo, but that's okay. Here we go. And we can go in, put a nice little water line in there. Just some highlights on our tree, nothing too major. Just doing a light blue color. Just giving it a little bit of a highlight. And we can take our knife. Let's go right in here, make some tops for these guys. And maybe there's some sticks or something, whatever, in the front there. And you can just chop away a little bit, pull some out. There's things hanging out there, whatever. And we can go back into our liquid white just a little bit more. And just on a few of these branches, maybe there's a little more snow hanging out. Just at a few spots. I don't want to do the whole tree. Just in a few spots, there's a little bit more snow than anywhere else. All right, let's keep going to the front. I need my 1-inch brush again. I wish I had more brushes, then I wouldn't have to clean them all the time, but you know, that's just the way it works. I'm gonna step back, have a look, and see what where I want my next set of trees. Alrighty, let's go in, and I'm gonna take a lot of paint. This is just blue and black again. Kind of got a limited palette, so just a lot of paint. And I'm gonna put a big old tree right here, nice and dark. Make our way down. He's gonna be massive. Flip it over when you need to. Press harder and harder as you go down to the bottom, and reload if you need to. That's a big old strong looking tree, and he's gonna go right to the bottom. And we'll put some land right at the very bottom. There we go. Big old spruce tree, and we can go back and put some limbs out if you don't think it looks right. Here. And let's give him a buddy. Maybe he's just a bit shorter than him. And same way. All the way down. You can leave these spaces in there so you can see what's going on behind the trees. Nice and wide all the way to the bottom. We're just gonna fill this in after anyways. So I'm not super worried. Let's put one more. Why not? One more right there. It's your painting. You can decide where you want a tree or not tree or whatever. There we go. Perfect. Big almighty trees. Nice and strong. They got the best view of everybody in the whole place there, looking right up against that lake and the mountain. All right, same color. Pull in one direction, and you'll get that nice little curve. And the curve goes to the top, and we're just gonna put some land in there. And the curve at the top kind of makes all these really neat trees and bushy things, I guess you would call them, right? And all I'm doing is filling in some space. Just excuse me for a minute. Need some more. Want it a little bit darker on that bottom there. So go take my black, mix it in with that blue we had there. Just want it a bit darker at the bottom here. There we go. This stuff. So let's get into my light blue again. And we can start up here. Now that trunk is still in the bottom there. It is still there, but we can't see a lot of it. And that's okay. As long as we can see a little bit of it, that's kind of what matters, right? It's really what matters. Now there's some big old bushes right at the front. And kind of all over the place with my brushes today for some reason. All right. All right, let's take some of that blue and more of our liquid white. And let's put in some big old bushes right up front here. And all I'm doing is using that same technique, pulling it through the round part, flipping it over. And I gotta leave some of the black in there. We're gonna go and highlight highlight these a little more. But you want to leave these dark spaces. You need the dark to show the light. I know it's kind of weird to say that, but that's what needs to happen. And once that dark's in there, that light just kind of pops out, right? And these are just little kind of bushes that are hanging out by the front of the lake there. All right, now we're gonna put just some snow that's kind of on the tips of those bushes. Now I want pure white. Pure white. Just tap it in there. And we're gonna put just a few highlights of pure white. Don't overdo this. Pure white on top of these bushes that are kind of hanging out here. Maybe some snow just laying around. Now you don't want that pure white all over the place, or else it'll kind of become ineffective and you won't get that little pop of white snow on top. There we go. Same with our trees. We want that pure white, just like we did on that other side. Just take some of that pure white, just on a fan brush, and just add a few sparkles of white that are just gripping on the end of that tree up here. And let's not forget about our buddy in the back here. There we go. Big, strong trees. And the fun part, this is the part I love to do. We're going to take our knife and we're just going to scratch in some sticks, things that are hanging out here. And you don't need any paint on your knife. No paint at all. And all it's going to do is take some of that underpaint and bring it up. And this adds so much to your painting. You can take a little bit of your liquid white maybe once in a while, throw it in there. Just a tad. But mostly these dark ones. And all I'm doing is really just scratching away a bunch of paint. Don't forget about the bottoms. And maybe some come up here. Maybe there's a white one in here somewhere. It's still got a little snow on it. Same with out here. And I just grabbed some of that extra liquid white that I had. Just put it on here. There we go. That finishes it off really nice. All right, let's take our liner brush. You can even use your liner brush for this. It really, you know, you can take your liner brush and make little things if you want. I like using the knife personally. You can go in here and fool around a little bit in there. All right, let's call this one done. We're just gonna dip our liner brush into whatever color. I think it's kind of like a purpley color. It has to be nice and thin. Nice and thin. Just work that paint in there. And let's go on the bottom. Put our signature in, and we're gonna call this one done. I just want to thank everybody for watching, coming on this adventure with me. I hope you enjoyed this painting. It's something you can do at home. It just takes a little bit of practice, and anybody can do it. So give her a try. You can follow along, and yeah, just have a good time painting. So my name's Andy, the Painting Fireman. Thanks so much for joining me. Keep your shiny side up.